Oh no, Mike. Uh, Justin Bieber is a zombie.
Oh no. Oh, the Beebs. Oh no, the Beebs.
Hey guys, this is the first to last in the room, and this is our big Christmas spectacular. We're going to be
It is.
talking about Anna and the Apocalypse,
Yes, we
which
will be. Yes.
is, you know, what what better than celebrate Christmas with a Christmas movie with zombies and a musical with songs.
Yeah, it was. It was very. It was nicely surprised by this one. It was really cool. It was.
Mhm,
It wasn't as like dark. I mean, it was
mhm,
dark, but like it wasn't like some of it kind of like was taking the edge off with a little bit of lightheartedness with the singing and all that, the
mhm.
musical number. So
Exactly.
it was cool. It was cool. I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah, the creator of the movie is Ryan McHenry, which unfortunately he died before the movie came out. He back when he was in college, he had this idea when he watched High School Musical. He said, "What was High School Musical missing? Zombies." So he made a college movie which mixed zombies with a High School Musical, and he called it Zombie Musical. He actually uh, got it filmed. He had a short film done in college, and it's actually on YouTube. I actually went back and watched it.
Okay.
If you do a search for a zombie musical, you'll find the the zombie musical by Ryan McHenry, and so that was the original um, the start of it, and then the guys that actually made that with him, he wanted to make the movie, and you may remember this before TikTok. There was Vines, and there
Yes.
was a Vine called Ryan Won't Eat the Cereal, which was
Okay.
basically, and I remember this. I don't know why I remember this, but there was a really popular Vine where someone would play a video of a Ryan Gosling movie, and they were trying to feed him cereal. They would take a spoon and feed, and he wouldn't eat the cereal, and that became like super popular. Yeah, you've got the videos on there, and that got the the start of this movie. They actually started that kind of got everybody excited about this guy that was doing that, and so yeah, it got the ball rolling for the movie. And while they were in the process of writing the movie, they found out Ryan McHenry had a rare case of bone cancer, and he
Oh,
ended up passing before they actually made the movie.
okay.
Uh,
That
but
sucks.
yeah, so the dedication is hit to him at the end of the movie. But yeah, and so the spirit of the movie was made within him, and the co-writer that actually ended up writing the script for it said that when it first started, after he passed, when the first draft of it for the movie, it was pretty dark because, well, his writing partner just died. But it ended up, you know, he kind of embraced the spirit of the movie, and ended up
Mhm.
being a lot lighter than what it originally was. And but yeah, and we ended up with what we have. But yeah,
Sure.
it was kind of interesting finding that backstory of the movie that kind of adds to, I guess, the gravitas of the movie.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it's basically, especially the start of the movie, it's sort of like your average teen movie with with some nice little songs in it, and it
Right.
slowly introduces the zombies to the whole situation, and it kind of
Right.
puts it
And
on ahead and spins it.
right, right. Yeah, they build up
Mhm.
until it kind of gets to the heartwarming kind of center heart of the, well,
Yeah.
as it goes forward. But yeah, no, I I never see on the screen there. It says Shaun of the Dead meets La La Land. I never saw La La Land, but we definitely have covered Shaun of the Dead, and that was a very fun movie. But this is that I think that's probably a good description. Although I don't know what La La Land is. Presumably a musical, obviously. But aside from that, I was really happy with this one. Once again, I was pleasantly surprised because I didn't quite know. I went in there. I went in this kind of blind, and I did that on purpose because I just wanted to be surprised and just kind of experience the movie as you know as a normie would. And I definitely was a normie to this, and I was I was really I really enjoyed it. It was fun. It was fun. Uh, it was pretty good. It was
Yeah,
pretty good. Yeah.
yeah, the zombie musical. It didn't start off as a Christmas movie. I think it takes place at the end of the year for high school people. But yeah, the song that really really affects me and that I keep returning to every time when I think about this movie is that song "Turning My Life Around."
Mm,
There's there's the song where the girl wakes up and she's kind of oblivious to everything. She's kind of happy about life, and she just kind of walks down the street. And while the zombie outbreak is happening, she's just sort of like like uh dancing around singing the song, and that's the heart of that short film that Ryan McHenry did, and that's what really connects me to this movie. Is just that I don't know that that energy of being a teenager and being consumed in your world of being happy with everything.
right.
Just having everything going your way at that moment and kind of ignoring all the trivialities of the day. But in the a zombie apocalypse, that's kind of a a bad thing as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was cute. It was. I agree. I enjoyed that as well, and I've got it playing here. And I'm not going to
Yeah,
let it go too much because we don't want to
right.
get struck,
Yeah,
struck, strike.
yeah, struck. Yeah.
Even though it's fair use, but yeah, and yeah. This was. I was trying to find the actress. I was not familiar with pretty much any of these aside from
Yeah.
like the obvious one, but they all did a great job.
Hmm.
And they you very quickly get pulled in.
Hmm.
And I am not I don't have anything against musicals or anything like that. God knows I grew up with my grandma, and her favorite one was Oklahoma. And
Hmm.
that was, like we would always watch that once in a while, and it was like, it was all right. When you're kind of a kid, you're kind of like you roll your eyes, but as you
Hmm.
get older, you kind of appreciate it a little bit more, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
But it was it was way better. Well, okay, so way back in the day, when my kiddos were little, there was a phenomenon on Disney called The Descendants, and The Descendants 2 and some other ones like that, which is essentially like a musical kind of thing. And damned if you don't get sucked into the silly little stupid,
Hmm.
the thing of it. And it's not really stupid. It's just like a thing that your kids get into. And it's like really cool. This one I think is like a whole level above that, in my opinion, just because of the material and everything else. But it was engaging. It was fun. It was the story. The storyline was good. I just had fun. I had fun.
Hmm.
And it was like, I don't know what I was thinking. When I heard the title, I thought it was just gonna be like really dark and gory
Yeah.
and whatever. And then it's like, nope. I mean, it was had its moments, but it was like
Hmm.
nowhere near like some of the other ones. Like there was one that I wanted to see called Violent Night that's out in theaters now, I think.
Hmm.
And I really don't know too much about that other than it's like a Santa Claus versus robbers or something like that. But that one's in theaters right now, and like it's not really, we don't really have the time to do that at this point in time.
Hmm.
But in any case, I enjoy this a lot. So I guess how did you come
Yeah.
across this one, or like how did you find this one?
I have my feelers out there. I'm big into horror, so
Right.
yeah, there was a podcast that was going on called, I'm trying to think what it was called. But it had like several different there's three there was thinking there was four different people that was big into horror at the time that did a podcast. In This is one of the movies that they brought up during that, saying it it was a kind of fun movie. But yeah, it's you know for the longest time I didn't think I liked the musicals because like you were saying, like the way I was introduced to musicals was like um you know Oklahoma and
Right.
different things where I didn't wasn't immediately interested in the story of them.
Right.
The music didn't really catch my attention. So why would I be interested in this if the story wasn't interesting, music wasn't interesting. So over time I realized, if the music was engaging and the story was engaging, of course I would enjoy it. And this is one of those movies where the movie, of course I would love a zombie movie if it's done
Yeah.
right. And you add a musical to it, and everybody's come from being in high school, and just the whole, the story is basically the girl is trying to leave the small confinement
Right.
of a high school, of that whole kind of small community. She wants to
Right.
kind of go out and enjoy the vast world of what's offering her outside of her small community. And it kind of is basically a story of how a small town can kind of hold on to a person, kind of no matter what kind of conflict that happens within that small community, that kind of holds a person down to keep them from expanding their horizon.
Right.
And
Right.
that's
Yeah.
that's sort of the basic story,
Right. Yeah.
although it's
Because yeah,
yeah.
she's getting ready to go to university next year.
Mhm.
Whatever. It's just like kind of like her. Well, senior year, I guess. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just a better way to put it.
yeah.
Like kind of like wrapping things up on the small town
Mhm,
and like really looking forward to the future and moving
mhm,
forward and moving on and whatnot. And there's a little bit of
mhm,
kind of interplay there with her dad and
mhm.
and things like that. But sorry, go on.
Yeah, yeah, basically her dad wants her to go to university and get her
Right.
education, where she wants to, broaden her horizons.
Right.
And and like a lot of times with, situations, maybe life kind of comes in conflict, and you end up having to deal with, real life situations that keeps you from university, or doing what you want to do,
Right.
where in this situation it's zombies that is kind of holding her back, and she's having to dig through and fight through all these limitations,
Right.
and yeah, through
Like
song.
right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like, well, not necessarily right off the bat, but like that the start
Mhm,
of her day, that next day,
mhm.
it kind of like it, unbeknownst to them, like this thing is happening and it starts to spread and they're kind of oblivious, like teenage oblivious until they
Yeah.
get to that to the fateful snowman.
Yeah, exactly.
Very gory scene, but it was really
Mhm,
funny. It was
mhm.
cool anyway. But I thought it was kind of
Yeah,
funny. But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like this is how you kick when they kick it off in earnest, and then everybody's kind of kettled with their dad and or grandma
Mhm,
or whatever. I think, and they're going and they're like uh, trying to figure out what to do and where to go, and like
mhm,
it's just kind of sheer kind of chaos and panic. But you were following her
mhm.
as the protagonist, and you're following her throughout this, so you kind of have this kind of calm in the storm, and she actually kind of ends up being very sharp on things, and very resilient, for sure.
Yeah, and to kind of combat the idea that you know Jennifer Lawrence is the only superhero action woman. There's
Which we'll
actually
cover in the grab bag.
right. Anna's very much the action hero in this, but in a very subdued sort of way. But yeah, it's one of those movies that yeah, just kind of surprises you with what it's able to give you. The songs are really enjoyable. The gore, the zombie gore is right there. Yeah, it's somewhat like Shaun of the Dead in that they're able to kind of temper the humor with the horror and the seriousness to kind of balance it out to where there's not you're never it's never too funny, it's never too dark, it's never
Yeah.
the the songs kind of hit you right whenever you're maybe right at the edge of, oh, this is really kind of a bad story, and then or a dark story, and then that song hits, and then that it kind of raises you up and lifts you through the darkness through to the next scene.
It does. Yeah, there's a good mix of sweet and salty, I guess, would be one way to put it. The pacing is really well thought out. Like, just like probably any good decent musical, it beyond a decent musical, it's a good one, I think. But you're right. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, there's not too much of any one thing or another. It's very well balanced. Surprisingly well balanced. Like for what you're like. Wait, a zombie musical? What at Christmas? Huh? How's that going to work? Well, it works out very well, actually. Like you wouldn't think all these kind of completely opposite things come together to make this story through the lens of Anna. But it does, and very well, I would say, and it leaves. It leaves you with just enough, from one scene to the next. You kind of have to figure out some things on your own a little bit. And I won't spoil anything for the audience, but I was very I was very well surprised by it. Like I just this was like kind of like where Spiderhead last week was a very, very awesome kind of present, or early Christmas present, I would say, or Hanukkah.
Yeah.
It like where how good it was. This one was the same way, but in another arena. So I was very, very happy with it. And so, like all things, you found it from a podcast. Maybe somebody will find this one from our podcast, from our show.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
they'll be inspired. Like I kind of want to watch this with my kiddos, but I'm still debating. I'm still debating a little bit, but I don't think it's too. I don't. It's pretty violent, but it's not. Nothing
Yeah.
crazy. It's not
Right.
nowhere near the
Mhm.
fright factor that like a 28 Days Later is, or a like the jump scare type things that happen in that, or the other one, the mall one, the Zack Schneider one.
Oh, Dawn of the Dead. Yeah.
Yep, Dawn of the Dead. Yep, the remake of Dawn
Yeah.
of the Dead. Yep, that one. It's not quite like that.
Yeah, and the music kind of kind of lessens the horror of it as well. Yeah, it's in and to be honest, the music is actually pretty good just by itself. The and I'm not really into the music. Pretty much kind of leans toward pop music, maybe a little. There's a little electronic, a little bit, and maybe some kind of classic musical type stuff, but for the most part it's sort of pop stuff. But yeah, when it does pop up, it's right when you need it. It's sort of picks you up like right whenever. Yeah, there. I was kind of looking through the songs. There's actually two different, or actually three different versions of the movie. I'm not sure which one you watched. But the I watched the director's cut, which is on Shutter. It's an hour and 48 minutes. I know there's an hour and 93 minute, or there's a 93-minute version, an hour and 33-minute version. But yeah, there's like one version that cuts out one of the songs. And
Okay. Okay.
yeah, there's a scene early on where I don't think it's like the school guy that's like the bad guy. I think you know who I'm talking about when I say that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a song early on where he that's called "Which Side You're On,"
Yeah,
where they're
Savage.
yeah, Savage sings
Hmm.
that. So if you saw that, you probably saw the longer version. But yeah, so that's there. There's another song that I did look up that's a deleted song called "Some Things Will Never Change," and that one's done by her father.
Okay,
The
Cumming.
father sings that song. It's a sort of a kind of a touching song between him and his daughter. I think she sings a
Hmm.
little bit of it. Uh, I watched it and I can see where they cut that because it doesn't quite fit in.
Fit.
It's a little bit of a country song. It's
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, it would probably slow down the pace of the movie a little bit for that. But it's on YouTube if you want to find it.
Okay.
If you're
Cool.
like kind of going through and really enjoy the music of it, because her father's like a really great singer.
Mm.
The guy that plays her, the parts where he sings, I really enjoyed because he's a pretty decent. At least whoever sings this part, I know like and sometimes on those musicals like the people that act aren't always the same people that sing, so I don't know if that translated over as far as whoever performed actually singed as well. But yeah,
What was the title of that song?
the one that her father sings is called
Yeah.
"Some Things Will Never Change."
Oh, some things. Some things.
Yeah.
Get that up here.
Yeah.
We'll do that one. Yep. Okay. Cool. Cool. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and also also the one girl that actually is one of the students, Steph, the short blonde girl.
Hmm. Yep.
She's actually the choreographer. She actually choreographed all the dancing in it.
Okay. Okay. Steph. Yep. Sarah Swire.
Hmm.
Sarah Swire. Yeah. 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 Okay. I did not know that. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
So there's a few different behind the scenes stuff online that you can kind of look up. There's one channel that put like all together all the different songs and stuff, and they had a 7-part little behind the scenes thing that I kind of watched. And but yeah,
Okay.
basically I guess they kind of took over a school, and all of the dressing rooms and everything were within that school. So everybody got to know each other pretty well while they filmed it. And but yeah, yeah, even
Yeah.
in the darkest points, like you're showing right there with her and the kind of ex-boyfriend, that "I
Right.
Will Believe" song, that's uh that one's kind of a dark song, but it was sort of tinged with hope as well.
Mhm.
Within there's sort of like the kind of a scene at towards the end where everything kind of looks bleak and everything, and she sings that song, and yeah, but there's like a tinge of hope in it as well, and that's one of the things that I like kind of like about the movie, is that no matter how dark it gets, there is that sort of like that sense of hope kind of running through the movie.
There is. Yeah, I was going to say somebody also said something about how it's hey, click on okay, that's Nick. Yeah, and then Savage is where the hell did that guy go? Oh boy, whatever. Ugh, why is it all? I always have a okay. That's Paul. That's right. Whatever.
Paul K, yeah.
So yeah, yeah. Somebody said something about before this came out before the Disney zombie. Zombies musical by a year. I never saw that one. I didn't know that was a thing. But I'll
Yeah.
tell you one
No.
thing. I would say I would prefer this one. Probably
Oh,
that's not
absolutely.
fair.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not fair because I haven't seen the other one. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with Disney per se. It's just
Mhm.
like I don't think that you'd have the same level of balance for my taste, for your taste, that kind of thing,
Mhm.
as you would in the other one. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe we can eventually cover that on the back end some point in time. Who knows? But probably not.
Yeah.
But
The absolute joy is that it's a Scottish movie.
right.
It's made by Scottish guys. That had like I said, Ryan McHenry had the idea. He's a
Mm,
Scottish guy that had this idea of putting zombies in a high school musical.
mm,
He inspired his fellow fellow friends. They made a short film. uh they got some success with that Ryan Gosling uh Vine thing, and that kind of projected this film project into reality. And a lot of those guys that worked on that
mm.
short film got to make this movie. They made it in honor of the guy. And and even they reference Ryan Gosling when they were talking about who became a zombie as far as celebrities. They did kind of tie it back to Ryan Gosling. But that
So
that's
funny.
it's kind of made in the spirit of, let's make a movie, let's make this fun movie. And yeah, it just has that excitement of um kind of coming up with an idea, making a movie, and just letting it be what it is, and without worrying about how successful it is, you know without worrying, the merchandising, how they can make more money off of this. It's just what it is. And it's kind of a tribute to the person that inspired it, that unfortunately passed away while they were in the process of making it. But yeah, it kind of ties into the in yeah, and the kind of the spirit of the movie is the hope of your future. And that's
Right.
sort of like ties into what Christmas is. And yeah, just kind of a fun spirit of the movie.
Yeah, and the I don't know if the right word would be stereotype or tropes or whatever, but certain characters in here kind of are indicative of kind of sticking around and not changing.
Hmm.
Whereas Anna and her buds are all like want to get out. Whereas some
Hmm.
folks kind of they just kind of want to stay put,
Yeah.
like Savage, like where he wants to stick around and kind of like he's more or less. And I'm reading into this a little bit more. He's more or less not just scared of the zombies, but like doesn't quite know how to handle the world. Maybe I guess I don't
Mm.
know how to put a cap on that one. But
Well,
Anna
the
and them and they
yeah.
don't quite know what they want to do either. But they know that they want to besides whatever's going on. They want to get out. Not
Mm,
just that, but not just that, but metaphorically they want to leave,
yeah.
not just because of the thing going on in the town and why it's everything
Mhm.
the situation they're in, but
Yeah.
they want to move on with life. It has layers. I
Yeah.
guess is what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole zombie thing um is cool and all, but yeah, like you were saying, the core concepts of uh the human kind of situation, the zombie element kind of amplifies the the human struggle that you're in. Like you're saying, the Savage character, yeah, he's he's kind of trying to micromanage his world.
Right.
He's sort of locked into being this teacher. And I think the biggest thing he could be is like the principal. And so yeah, he wants to be controlling of the students, and the humanity and being able to help these people grow is something that's kind of bled out of his consciousness. He's more or less wanting to be the manipulator and controlling of the situation,
Right,
and
the
this whole
authority.
yeah this authority situation. And yeah, you kind of can understand, I guess, the frustration and his world mindset. So yeah, he can be seen as sort of like the stereotypical bad guy in the situation, but yeah, if you look a little bit deeper, you kind of see where maybe the corruption kind of happened early on. And
Right,
this zombie outbreak just kind of amplified his deterioration as a human being.
right. Yeah, no, they're definitely different characters take on different aspects of the story very
Hmm.
well. And you kind of see where there's kind of fear to adapt, fear of change, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
I'm not going to get too far into it
Yeah.
because I mean it's still a musical at the end of the day and comedy.
Right, yeah.
But
Yeah.
but nevertheless, it still does justice to those themes, to those
Hmm.
layers. Still,
Hmm.
but maybe probably not as well and hardcore as like a Spiderhead or like a deeper level movie,
Yeah.
but it still does a great job, even still with singing and kind of
Hmm.
like lighthearted kind of tick that
Hmm.
you get despite this, despite
Hmm.
what happens at the end, like
Hmm.
where you well, there's a saying, you can never go home.
Hmm.
And that I think that also echoes pretty well off
Hmm.
the canyon walls that this movie you find yourself in when you're
Yeah.
on your way out. I'll put that
Hmm.
way.
Yeah, there's also the first song of it, Christmas Means Nothing Without You, that plays at the beginning of the movie through the credits. It's animated. I know I was reading where they actually wanted to do that live action, and it would have been a a person that was playing Santa that was drunk, that was kind of wandering you through the town, and all the minor characters would have interacted with him to kind of get you to know the characters before the main story had
Okay,
started.
okay.
But it was a little, they weren't able to actually film that, so they did it sort of like animated sequence at the beginning of the movie. So it worked out all right, but yeah, it would have been kind of fun to see if they were able to film that, to do that. There's actually also, if you watch the zombie musical short film, there's also an animated sequence at the beginning of that one that they do. And I guess we could play it a little bit, because I'm sure they won't I won't strike us for that. But yeah, it's the animated sequence on that is actually pretty entertaining as well. Um, and that Black Camel
Hmm.
thing is actually the production company that did the actual movie. So, but yeah, but yeah, a lot of the people that did actually the short film actually did the movie as well. So yeah, that was the thing I was thinking about, the whole thing with the explosion at the end.
Right,
Um,
right. Yeah, this is like kind of in short, in short, kind of version of the
mhm.
encapsulates the story pretty much.
Yeah, and the song, there's like 3 or 4 songs that are in this short film, kind of gives you a flavor of what the movie is actually eventually does. But the songs are nowhere near as good as what's in the movie, because they actually got some songwriters
Right,
for
right.
the
They
movie.
actually, right.
Yeah, and there's in the behind the scenes stuff that I watched, they talked to one guy that was the head writer of the musical, and they asked him, if he would be interested in doing the music for this movie. And so he called up his friend about maybe helping him out with him, and he said, well, yeah, once he said that, he was there within 5 minutes to
Oh
do
wow.
that because doing a zombie musical, Christmas musical, sounded like something he wanted to be involved in.
Right on, right on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Good stuff. Yeah, I don't want to play too much of it.
yeah,
Too much
yeah.
of a good thing. And links will be in the description too. Should you want to check
Hmm.
out this and as well as Ryan's other, Ryan
Hmm.
McHenry's other comings and goings, as it were,
Hmm.
including the funny the lead in that we had with the cereal part
Yeah.
and song list to courtesy of Spotify here.
Hmm.
Might as well be good as anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a certain song that you particularly liked the best?
I didn't pay too much attention to the songs other than like probably the one that you mentioned, just off
Uh-huh.
the top of my head, but that's just because we just talked about it, to be honest. I would have to go back. What I really want to do is I want to go back and watch this again, but with my
Hmm.
kiddos, and see.
Yep.
I think they're old enough. It's nothing is
Hmm.
too really bad. I mean,
Hmm.
it
Yeah,
had a
I
limited
don't.
budget, so it's
Hmm.
not like I said, if this were something a little bit more jump
Hmm.
scary, then I would
Hmm.
probably refrain on that. But this is
Yeah.
they're old enough. They're old enough to,
Yeah.
and I think they might get a kick out of this. So it'd be interesting to see how
Yeah, and
they
there's
would take it.
yeah, and there's most of the songs don't have anything to do with Christmas, so they're
Right.
good all year round. And yeah, every once in a while I'll put on Turning My Life Around. And as you know, I'm I have a very eclectic taste as far as music, and I'm
Yes, sir, you do.
I love black metal, but then I like this music as well. So that's
Absolutely.
just
Yeah,
this kind of shows you that music is universal, and
it
people
is.
can like you know all sorts of things. This also is our Christmas episode. Is there any certain Christmas music or movies that you always turn to when it's this time of year?
I do, and they are decidedly not. Well, I mean, in a far off sense, I guess I could kind of claim something, but I won't. But yeah, a couple of them come to mind.
Mm,
One I always watch around between Thanksgiving and Christmas. That I did watch was National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Of course, that's
mhm,
classic.
mhm,
Sometimes we'll watch Elf. Just me and the kiddos will watch Elf, but that's one. I don't like to watch that every single year because it kind of
mhm,
gets old after a little bit. But we'll go through phases like where we'll watch it three
mhm,
years in a row or something like that, and then we'll kind of give it a rest. Controversially, probably Die Hard is one that I like to bring out with just me and the kiddos
mhm.
to watch. Of course, that technically probably isn't a Christmas movie, but it is. So fight me on that. No, I'm kidding. I don't think anybody's going to push back on that too much.
Yeah.
And then one that I do like to watch occasionally along those lines are is well, a more funny one would be Bad Santa. I like to watch.
Mhm,
My kiddos are still a little young for that still. But Prometheus, of all things, is
mhm,
one that I like to watch occasionally. Because technically speaking, it's not, I would not, even by stretching it even a little bit, call that a Christmas movie by any stretch of the
mhm,
imagination. But when they roll up or when they land on LLV or LL 223 or whatever the hell it is, they're landing on Christmas Eve on Christmas.
mhm,
And so like that's a fun one. I like to watch. I'm just trying to think. Probably the funnier ones in years past have been. I'm trying to think. Every once in a while, we'll put on "It's a Beautiful Life," that kind of thing. But that's
mhm.
maybe once a decade, if
Yeah.
I'm being honest. The more common
Yeah.
ones are National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Mhm.
That one I watch every single friggin' year, for sure.
Yeah.
How about you? How about you?
One of them that made me think of it while you were talking.
Sure.
It's not really a Christmas movie, but we watched it at Christmas one year. Was the movie "It's a Mad Mad World"?
Mm.
I may have missed a couple of mads in there. But yeah, it's it's sort of like a kind of a screwball comedy that they showed during Christmas one year that my family watched that we really enjoyed. And then there's it, I'm sure it's kind of a meme at this point, but A Christmas Story is one of them that
Mm.
kind of
Oh yeah.
stands out.
Yep.
Uh, I I was one of those that uh was was one of the maybe the first people that were like, "Oh, this is a great movie," and then everybody loved it, and then it's sort of like that whole punk music kind of mentality is like, I was there first,
Yeah. Yeah.
now it's like everybody's favorite movie, and that's so shown like 24 hours on TNT or whatever the channel is that shows it forever. But yeah, it's one of those I definitely enjoy. One of them that I love now that I'm a little older and enjoy horror movies is Black Christmas. Hopefully we can revisit that sometime. Maybe when we do a horror Christmas episode, but
Sure.
that one's a good one. Um, but yeah, I always love the claymation. Uh, like Rudolph, and there's like that one with
Oh yeah.
Rudolph and the snowman or whatever. With
Yeah. What
the
was that? What is that?
abominable snowman.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That
Yeah.
one, and
Hmm.
of course, Charlie Brown's Christmas too, like that. But
Hmm.
that's again, that's probably more like once a decade, or if it
Yeah.
just happened, if I remember it, that because
Hmm.
or usually what'll happen is somebody will post about it on Facebook, usually between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and at some point
Hmm.
you'll kind of like, oh, just put it on background. But
Hmm.
what was that one called? Yeah, Rudolph. Shame on us for not knowing that one. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna look it up, but
Right.
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
And
What
then
Cornelius?
there's a big tradition of with British stuff with ghost and Christmas stories. Obviously there's
Hmm.
the classic one, with the what's his name? Why why can't I think of
I know
the
you're talking
story?
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's the other one too, the remake with Bill Murray.
Hmm.
The Scrooge's
Scrooge, yeah,
Tale.
yeah,
Yeah,
with
Scrooge.
Scrooge, and yeah, there's the Scrooge story with the three faces, the three ghosts of Christmas past and future and present. But yeah, there's a big tradition of ghost stories within the British community. The British. There's like a lot of different short stories that have been written during that time. And I had one book that kind of collected a few of those that are really really entertaining. Kind of kind of gives you that Christmas vibe, but kind of in a creepy sense.
Right,
That's
right.
kind of enjoyable. And there's this one movie that I don't have enough um stuff on. It's sort of a ghost story about this castle or whatnot, and I see the various scenes I watched on it, and that movie like really impacted me when I watched it as a kid. But I have not anything to tie it to look it up,
Oh,
and that kind of frustrates me because I wish I could like throw it out there to people out there in the internet that could find this movie, but yeah, I
sure.
don't have enough to actually latch on to it to find out where this movie is. But yeah, it has to do with this castle, and I think this outline of a body on the cobblestones of this castle. But yeah, it's again, it's lost out there in the ether, and
Sure.
maybe I'll find it at one point, but I don't hold any hope.
Sure, sure, sure. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. No, I enjoyed this one. And
Hmm.
I look forward to sharing this one. And maybe who knows, maybe this will become nutrition
Yeah.
for me and the kiddos. We'll see. But
Yep.
yeah, this one is a solid recommend.
Hmm.
It'll take you by surprise in a good way.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
think that's fair to say. It's a good find.
Hmm.
This is like perfect one rolling into a little bit heavier waters.
Hmm.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. For
Hmm.
what we're going to be doing covering next week.
Hmm.
Um, with special guests as well.
Hmm.
I don't have too much more to say other than give this one a spin. No, I
Yeah.
agree. It's not quite Christmas Story, but it is.
Hmm.
It's like one of those that can kind of fall into this time of year.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. If you love musicals and don't mind a slight bit gore, definitely check it out. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those that it's kind of hard to recommend to your gore friends because you don't know if they like musicals,
sure,
and the people that you know that love musicals may not may not want to travel that far into gore, but I think it finds a good balance. It doesn't
it
go
does.
too far one way or too far the other way.
Absolutely. Yeah. With that, humbly ask you to check out our back catalog.
Hmm.
We have quite a bit. We're kind of opening up a little bit more and kind of covering our going back to our roots this week.
Hmm.
So hang on for that later in the week. And of course, we have our classic grab bag, which we
Hmm.
cover the comings and goings of the nerddom. And
Hmm.
there's a few hardballs and softballs hit for sure
Hmm.
this past week. But in any case, we would love to hear from you. If you have something to say, you can follow us on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook as well. Although I think we're kind of coalescing around a couple, for sure YouTube. That's our bread and butter.
Hmm.
But I think we're branching out a little bit more into other territories. And hopefully we'll have our website cleaned up come the new year with all of our back catalog and all nice and pretty and shiny. It gets kind of fallen off on the wayside because
Hmm.
I just only have so many hours in the day. And
Hmm.
a little bit of a perfectionist, or not really, but the thing. But and in that case, like, comment, subscribe, dislike. That's
Hmm.
fine too. Tell us what your favorite
Yep.
Christmas movie is,
Yep.
horror related or not, or sci-fi or comic book
Hmm.
related too. We covered Thomas covered the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which was
Hmm.
pretty solid. I got to catch up on that one still too. But
Hmm.
I'm probably going to save that one toward closer to Christmas,
Hmm.
closer to Hanukkah when me and the kiddos are together, and we just
Yep.
kind of gather around the good stuff, so to speak.
Hmm.
I've been Mike, and this week it was fun. This was a nice shot of good change of pace for our normal stuff. But again, it was a surprise. It was good balance, and the songs
Hmm.
were really. Damn if I'm probably not going to be listening to them
Yeah. Yeah.
offline for sure.
Yeah, if you start listening to if you're going shopping and you get stuck with those Mariah Carey Christmas songs and you can't get them out of your head, put this movie on. Let this let this music get stuck in your head. You'll be thanking us later for that.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And with that being said, I've been Mike,
And I'm Thomas.
and
And
we'll see you next week.
Merry Christmas. See you next year.
Happy Hanukkah.
See ya.